Welcome everybody, this is Edgardo Balentine.
And this is Scott DiGregorio, and welcome to the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast, where we're going to discuss the rapidly changing landscape of the real estate industry.
And the steps that you need to take today in order to survive tomorrow.
Look, I'm going to give you the perspective of a 25-year veteran, somebody who has been there and done that.
With Jesus life for all fart, okay?
Screw you, man.
Look, I'm going to give you a fresh perspective from somebody that's applying those steps today.
So that basically means you're young and you don't know shit.
All right, let's get this started. Welcome to the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast. This is Edgardo Balentine, and I am with my much uglier co-host, Scott DiGregorio.
You know,
what's up, man?
I think I'm older and wiser, not uglier.
Well, you can be all.
So what's going on, man?
Well, listen, this is a topic that
It's timely as shit.
I actually like, yeah, and it's really, look, let's just table it. It's hard. It's really fucking hard to buy a house right now.
Yeah.
Everything is against you, right? Because rates are high, prices are high. There's a lot of uncertainty about the market. Now, you and I have an episode, and we'll have more episodes about why statistically, and if you look at the numbers, and if you're cold enough to remove yourself from the situation, which I think is our job as realtors and lenders, to help people remove themselves from the situation and look at the facts. The decision to buy a house is the right financial decision. However, if you're not in the business and you don't look at this with the pragmatism that we look at it, it's just really fucking hard to buy a house right now.
It is.
It's expensive, it's hard, and there's nothing but uncertainty. And everywhere you look, everybody's telling you not the reasons why you should buy, but all the reasons why you shouldn't buy. So today we're talking about home buying hacks, and more importantly, how you can buy a house with 0% down payment.
Yeah, which, look, this is something where so many people right now are in such a problem because people had down payment money saved up and inflation has just eaten it away. And there's no real end in sight, right? Like, rates are expected to come down, and we've talked about that and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but today...
Right. Today, there's nothing. Tomorrow doesn't look great in this regard. And most people are saying that if rates do come down, it's just going to push prices even further. So that negates it out as well. So we have to address this.
And sorry to interrupt, but let's be honest. When you talk about out of pocket right now, it's more expensive than it was before to buy a house.
Of course.
Simply because there's margin compression, which what that means is it takes more money today to get a rate than it did before, even a high rate, which means you need to bring more money to the table. Now, the good news is, and look, specifically, we're in the state of Florida here. We're going to talk about some specific programs for Florida and some programs that work for everywhere in the country. By the way, we can help you everywhere except for New York. But there are programs today that can help you buy a house even if you don't have a down payment. And I'm going to even put it forward, like even take it further. I am right now pushing some of my home buyers to a down payment assistance program, even though they don't need the down payment assistance program, simply because it just works better for their situation.
And look, and here's another thing. What I want everybody listening to ask themselves is this. Have you pigeonholed yourself to the point where you're leaving money on the table, okay? Have you explored things outside of your norm, right? Whatever your norm, your normal clientele, your normal neighborhoods where you farm or whatnot. Have you looked outside of the box for more opportunities? Because there's very few agents I know that are not looking for more opportunities than they were. And but everybody's like, well, this is the way I do things. And that has been the case in the lending industry in a very terrible way. I mean, I think so many lenders have gone out of business and lending companies have closed.
And will continue to.
And will continue to because they're just stuck in their ways. So if you're in a rut where you go, I don't deal with down payment assistance, or I don't deal with first-time home buyers, or I don't deal in that price point, or I don't deal with... I would...
Look, if that's what you're thinking, just turn off the episode, go away, and just retire. I'm sorry. It's just not worth talking about them. I'm sorry. This is not for you. Listen, a couple things before, just to set up the stage. It's not more complicated. The loans are not harder. The deals are not going to be harder. It's just a matter of being prepared and talking to the right person. So let's jump into down payment assistance. Right now, in the state of Florida, we have what's called the Hometown Heroes. Besides a bunch of different programs, the Hometown Heroes is the hottest, sexiest program right now when it comes to down payment assistance, because you don't need to be a hometown hero in order to qualify. This is a down payment assistance that's going to give you 5% of the loan amount at a 0% interest rate, meaning it's free money. You do have to pay it back, but it doesn't accrue interest. So if you're buying a $500,000 house or a $500,000 with a $500,000 loan, the down payment assistance will give you $25,000 that you can use not only for your down payment, but also for part of your closing costs. And it doesn't take you longer to close. You can buy a duplex with that, a triplex, a fourplex, a condo. You can do whatever you want with this loan, as long as you're gonna live in the property. You have a 640 credit score, and you're a full-time employee in the state of Florida.
Now, the company needs to be based in Florida?
So this is where it gets interesting. They need to have a brick and mortar location in Florida. So they don't have to have like their quarters in Florida, but they need to have some type of location. I'll give you an example. Today I was talking to somebody.
By the way, that's headquarters. Just
headquarters. What did I say?
Quarters.
Quarters, just the quarters. The whole head of the quarter. Sorry, guys. Like today, I was doing a pre-purchase consultation with somebody that works remote for a company that's out of Minnesota. That person doesn't qualify for the down payment assistance. But that takes me to the second point. There's another down payment assistant that works for them, just not the Hometown Heroes. The Hometown Heroes is cool because it's 0% interest. You don't have to repay that loan until you move out of the property, sell the property, refinance, or just mess with that loan. But it's a great opportunity for people that couldn't qualify before just because of the money, that now can qualify. So that's one. It's the hottest product right now in the state of Florida. Anything to add on that?
No, I don't think so.
It's simple.
Yeah, just don't let the name fool you, which I know you opened with, but
exactly.
Just to reiterate that. And then, there's other down payment assistance programs that are good on a national level. But look, I think, here's the thing that I think is worth mentioning. And you used the term a minute ago that I hate, with the free money thing. There's no free money, right? Like, even the Hometown Heroes, like, you're paying the money back. Like, you'll eventually pay it back.
You don't make payments on it.
Back. I mean, there's no interest on it or anything, but you're going to pay it back.
Right.
Now, there are programs where you don't pay the money back.
That's true.
Now, that on paper looks like free money. But you know what the old saying, if your mom told you it was too good to be true, It is. So what you have to look for is, where is the profit? Okay, now, Hometown Heroes is a state-funded program. Very often it's not a private.
By the way, let me, it's worth, there's something worth saying about this. A state-funded program, meaning I, bank A, I can't say, well, I want to make more money on this loan. And because I want to make more money on this loan, it doesn't pay me what I think it should pay me. I'm going to charge these extra fees, and I'm going to charge this extra interest or anything like that. No. The state determines, hey, this is the rate that you're going to give these people, and these are the closing costs that you're allowed to charge. Period. If you go to another bank, like, there's no such thing as, oh, I'm going to shop around my Hometown Heroes loan. Everybody's going to give the same type of pricing and the same type of numbers.
Right.
We're just better, but, that's besides the point.
Sure.
All right, so that was specifically the Hometown Heroes. Now, the Hometown Heroes has up to $35,000 that you can get as a down payment assistance. And again, the name down payment assistance, it's a little misleading because you can use some portion for down payment and the other portion for the closing costs. Now, besides that loan, there's a lot of different loans that are available to Florida. So if for whatever reason you don't qualify, there's bond programs that will give you $10,000 and even more. Now, if you're not necessarily in Florida, or if for whatever reason you don't qualify for these programs, there are other loans. For example, there's a loan called Chenoa that is going to be available everywhere in the country. Now, Chenoa has a lot of different types that are going to allow you to get 3.5%, 5%. Some of them are going to be forgivable, like Scott was saying, which means you don't have to pay it back. Some of them you have to pay it back. But the main point here is there are programs available for people, even if you're not first-time home buyer, even if you make way too much money for some programs. The point is, there's a lot more programs that a lot of banks like to make it seem, simply because they're unaware or uneducated about this type of loans.
And look, on some of these where you have like a quote unquote forgivable second, you might pay a higher interest rate on the first mortgage. So, again, there's no free money out there, but there are too many deals being lost because these conversations are not taking place. Either the lenders are uneducated about it, the agents are uneducated, or both. So, do an assessment of your business and see everywhere you might be leaving money on the table. I know we have a episode coming up on reverse mortgages for purchase that very few people know about, and it is a lot of people don't know that opportunity.
A lot of people don't know that you can do a reverse mortgage for purchase.
I know that, and it's an enormous opportunity, a huge untapped market. We just have to think differently, and we have to, times like this are an opportunity to grow and expand ourselves and our business with it.
I'll give you an example, man. Like, I have clients right now that, like I was saying, I'm putting on down payment assistance programs, not because they need the down payment assistance programs, but because it might be the difference between them qualifying for $400,000 and them qualifying for $420,000, which I don't need the down payment for $400,000. But if they get into a competitive position where they need to put a higher bidding, I can put them in the DPA, down payment assistance program, and they now qualify for the $420,000. Or a lot of times I've used the down payment assistance if the appraisal doesn't come in at the price and we need to come up with more money, we can use the down payment assistance for that. So my point is, there's a lot of good reasons beyond just not having the money why having the ability to do the down payment assistance program is. Now, couple things. Not everybody qualifies for every down payment assistance. And one misconception that a lot of my clients had, and quite frankly, I had when I started, is I thought that was a program. That was one program. There was a down payment assistance program, which means it was just one and you either qualify or not. But there's hundreds of them. Not for everybody, but there's hundreds of them. So, again, do your research.
You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. I mean, there's just misconception after misconception.
So have that in your tools, because not having that will cost you a lot of deals.
Yeah, and by the way, from a longevity standpoint, the people that I helped get into their first home, particularly the challenging deals, are lifetime billboards for me. I mean, I can think of a half dozen names off the top of my head of people that I helped literally 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I had 2 clients in here where I helped them buy their first house after somebody else denied them. It was like 15 years ago. And now I've helped them 2 times since then. And now they're thinking about relocating to another state, and I'm helping them for a 4th time. And they've sent countless referrals to me over the years. So it's a really good source of business. And those are the most feel-good transactions that I have.
So that's it, guys. The point is, the biggest challenge with my buyers today is not the rate, even though the rate sucks. We all agree that the rate sucks, but the biggest challenge is money that they need to bring to the table. Because if you do a lot of deals with financing, you probably know this. If you don't, trust me, it's just expensive to get a loan right now because you have to pay points in this market. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, but we see a lot more scenarios where in order to get a rate, you have to put more on the table than not. And these down payment assistance programs have been a huge lifesaver. Don't turn your back at them, because turning your back at DPAs is turning your back at loans. So turning your back at deals, sorry.
Look, take this episode, forward it to a couple of agents in your office.
Or clients.
Yeah, send it to your clients. So look, that's what we got for you today, guys. This is the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast, where we always like to ask you, are you doing what you need to do today to be relevant tomorrow? See ya.
Well, thank you guys for listening. And now it's your turn to implement everything you learned today.
Look, you have a question, you have a topic for a future episode?
Share with us.
Yeah, tell us what you're doing. What are you doing today so you could be successful tomorrow? Send us an email at success@realestateoftomorrow.com.
And don't forget to leave us a review, an honest review.
Screw an honest review. Leave us a 5-star review. And for every 5-star review we get, we're going to send you a badass Real Estate Mean t-shirt.
Those shirts are hilarious.
See ya.